Right, we're gonna call.
Yeah, echo's on.
It's like, whoa, so
Thank you.
we're going to call to order the meeting for August 21st, and we'll start with the pledge. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have, I don't have any public comments left.
I want to do roll call first.
Oh, okay, so Miriam, I'm here. Bridget, here. Daniel, absent. Christine. is
Here.
she Online.
She's online.
Here,
Can you hear us?
yep. Can you see me?
She looks so smart with her glasses.
Yeah.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah, she is here. But are you able to speak too?
I
How does she
can.
communicate with us?
Well, I think she. I can hear you, but can you speak if you need to?
I'm speaking and I'll figure it out.
You can't hear you.
Okay, I'll figure it out. But I'm here.
I think it seems like Jenna's trying to fix it.
I'll get it. I'll get it. It's cool. Just keep going.
Well, I'm not sure why it's not working. In the past, it's come right into the owl. That's what it should be coming through.
Right.
Yeah, sign language.
Should be
Christine,
coming
if you
through there.
want to just drop whatever you have into the chat. Is there, we can try to check it.
Okay.
There we go. Now
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clear.
My apologies.
No worries. Thank you. I'm like, okay, I put it because Zoom likes my headset, so that's why.
Okay, Christine is online, Ray is not here, Judy,
Here.
Mr. Ham,
Here.
Mark,
Here.
Ms. Miller,
Here.
Langston, and Sylvia. All right, so I don't have public comment slips, so we'll move on to board member comments. Mr.
I wanted to bring the attention to the board that all of us probably know what the mission statement of Old Town Academy is. We see it all over the school. I think it's very important that board members know the philosophy and mission statement of core knowledge. If you don't know that, how can you promote the school and know what the school is supposed to be doing? It's very easy. You just go to coreknowledge.org, go to the sequence, and it's the introduction to the sequence book that tells you what the mission statement is for core knowledge.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to, if you're able to, just send the link to the board?
Send the link. What you've got? It's on the,
I'll send it to you.
it's on the website.
I know. We'll just send the website.
We'll make sure it's in the minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
just to make sure we all have it and. we have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nope, okay. Reports, presentations. We'll start with the student report.
Okay, so the first major thing that a lot of students, we inquired, about all the concerns of all students. I think we talked to students grades 3 through 8. We couldn't see some of the younger kids. One of the major concerns was the rock slide from last year and if that will be cleared up, in the coming future.
Is that not cleared yet? or-
It's not cleared. So I've been in touch with the leasing company. It's what they're saying is that they are having to have certain research done on what they're going to do over there, and that is still being done. But that within the next month, we should have some sort of response as to when they're gonna start work on trying to fix that, but they were doing some sort of research. Now, having said that, I would assume people would have to be out there doing that research, but I haven't seen people out there doing that research. So that's where I'm struggling with what I've been told, but just to be upfront and honest here, that's kind of what they've been saying. So I've got emails and stuff like that. We can go back through. I can reach out to Taylor again, who's our leasing officer, whatever you would call her. and just see where we're at. I think I did that 2 weeks ago, right before we started school again, checked in, and that was the answer. So,
Thank you.
They've also, like the younger grades, like elementary, has been wondering if they could have like more of a separation, like how middle school has like a dedicated time to eat and a dedicated time to like play. Like how there's separation now, like the 10 minutes of eating.
100%, we're doing mini lessons next week.
Another thing that, a lot of kids really want is, something that had been brought up during principal's advisory last year was, lines in the blacktop for like basketball and stuff like that. That was seen as that's a property alteration, seen as something that should be brought forward.
So like painting an actual basketball court.
Yeah,
Just basketball?
No, they wanted like 4 square. We talked about a lot of things last year. This is a possibility, but we gotta get the landslide taken care of before we can start doing anything with the rest of the stuff out there. So that's kind of the first thing out there. Cause the goal is to get that blacktop back, right? So we actually get to use that blacktop for the court, which when we have those meetings and we're talking about, we have that space to kind of do that. So now we gotta wait till that gets cleaned up before we can go on the lines. But putting lines down shouldn't be too difficult.
Thanks so much.
thank you.
And I
Thank
did,
you.
on behalf of the board, we want to welcome you guys. We're excited to have you. Thank you.
We will start principal advisory pretty soon, but when we go to principal advisory, it will be your job to go to K1, 2 and talk to them, because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they will all bring their own stuff, right? But you need to be their representation, so just a reminder of that.
Perfect. Okay, financial report, Josh.
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So first announcement that I want to make is this will be my last presentation for Old Town Academy. I'm staying with CSMC, so I'll still be around, but I am transitioning off of this account. Right now I have Janina with me. Janina, are you there? She's going to be taking my spot at CSMC presenting these financials moving forward. So I'll just start off with saying thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll still be around, but just thank you for your time. So with that, I will just transition into my part of the presentation. There's 3 things we want to accomplish today and 3 things that require board approval in your action items. The first one is the approval of the 22-23 unaudited actuals. So what the unaudited actuals is a document that we will send to the school district. It's a requirement. The school district sends it to the county. County sends it to the state. And it is just a summary of the school's financials for the period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. And you should have it in your packets, but I do have it up on the screen. And really, so I'm just going to skim all the way down to show you guys the net effect. There's a lot of more details on here, high level, that you guys can look over at your convenience. But for the time being, I will just skim all the way down to the main piece right here. So the main thing that I want to show you is this net increase, decrease in fund balance / net position. So right here is the total.
Josh, what page is that on?
This is on page 4 of this document. So I don't know if that's exactly lined up with what you guys got, but page 4 of the unaudited actual document.
Here.
Great. And so it's line E, net increase, decrease in fund balance, net position. And if you look to the far right, this is the total of how the school did for the year. So the school ended the year with a positive $3,242.63. So if you'll recall from all of our past meetings, this is actually a pretty good news, right? You ended in a positive instead of a negative. Some of the things that led us to this number were, one, obviously all the additional grants that you received this year that really helped move the needle. The second piece was some of the budgeted expenses that we had going into June. Turns out we didn't actually make those purchases or expenses, or we didn't use up the budget, I should say. So that saved a good amount of money. And then really the last thing is there was some additional state revenue that was increased, like special ed and state lottery money. Those rates came in higher than we had anticipated. So that was a helpful boost. So all that saying, the negative talk last year, this is a good sign that we were able to tap in to a positive $3,242 for the year. How that affects your current running balance. So as you can see this right here, it says as of July 1st, this is what you came into the year with. We'll look at this number right here, $1,226,285. So what we do is we'll add the $3,200 to that amount. And so now your running fund balance as of 6/30/2024 was positive $1,229,528. Now, like I said, this is just a piece where, you know, the board will approve and then it'll get sent to the district sends it on, so on and so forth. But it is called the unaudited actuals for a reason, because the auditors will actually come in and double check this and verify to make sure our numbers are good. And if they are good, then great, these will be the numbers. But for the time being, this is what we've done from our interpretation of everything. And this is what we are presenting to you guys today. So,
Hey, Josh, really quickly, because I don't have this in front of me and I don't know if you have it in front of you, but do you have the numbers of what the original budget was passed last June for the school year? So we can see the difference in the positive 3,000?
yeah. So, yeah, give me 1 second to find the exact number.
Thanks.
I believe it was in the deficit of $500,000 ballpark. But let me just verify. I'm gonna stop share for a second. While I'm looking for that, any questions on the unaudited actuals that maybe I can answer while I'm digging through to find?
Who does the audit?
I think his name is David Graves. Devin, do you want to speak? Do you know? Is that his name?
Yeah, he's our independent auditor that we have hired. He was hired here by Laura before I ever came in, so he's been doing our audit since then.
Okay.
He'll actually be doing our current audit the next week, I think, at the end of next week, right? And then he will bring that to you guys and go over the whole process of it, and it'll be in like a nice book like thing, and he'll go over all that with you once it's done.
Okay. Camera doesn't seem to be picking you up.
I love it.
You have a purpose?
It's finally working today the way it's supposed to work, Mark.
It's partial to you, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happened at this roughly this point. I mean, a little bit more than a year. We went into the year with about the budget that we started the year last year with was about a deficit of 130,000. But then at the first interim, we actually had a deficit of 500,000. So yeah, we started at 130 deficit, then went to a 530 deficit due to the significant drop in ADA. And then here we are with a +2, so 2,000. So
Great.
Yes, good news.
So Josh, I have a question. So will this number then be impacted by our current ADA and numbers of students that we have here now on first day, or?
No, this is only for last year, Judy. All this information's last year's. So this is closing the books for the year.
Okay, so closing the books with the number of students we had at the last day of school?
Well, whatever, I mean, this is all about.
Or is it the
based on-
number on the day that we calculate?
So
Is
it
the
would
April
technically
number?
be based on P2, which happens in April. This is from July 1 to June 30th, what our whole budget looked like for the entire year.
Okay, great.
So. Cool. Thanks, Josh.
Yep, I saw two more things. The other thing that you're going to see on your board agenda is this thing called the Prop 28 Arts and Music School Funding. You may or may not remember this, but the state of California, everyone voted on whether the schools should get more money to fund new arts and music programs. So it passed. So the state of California issued a bunch of new money to schools and school districts and charter schools. The issue with that is well, not an issue. The catch with that was that every school needed to provide more service, a new service, something that they hadn't already been doing. So the other piece of that is that the board actually would have to kind of be held accountable and approve or acknowledge that that's what the school was going to do with the money, that it actually, enhanced arts and music programs. So every year the board is going to have to approve what the school did with the funds. So this report that's due and needs a board approval is from last year, fiscal year 22, 23, 24. And this is the year the school got the funds. And if you just look at this document, we filled it out with a bunch of zeros, essentially indicating that we did not spend any money with this grant to enhance the school's program, which is fine. It's a 3-year grant, and you got it for the first time in the middle of last year, so there's no expectation to spend it. You could spend it however you want in the 3 years. But the main piece of compliance is the board is just approving a document that's saying, yeah, we didn't spend any of this money next year. We'll figure out in the following years. So you can see a bunch of zeros on here. Any questions on this? It's more of a compliance thing.
So there's no requirement to spend it a third, or any portion, we
Nope.
can, okay, that's what I thought you said.
Yep.
Perfect.
Is there a dollar amount on here somewhere?
Yeah, it's the total allocation right now is let me get an exact number for you. Sorry, hold on one second. The total allocation is $29,815. So 30 grand. Pretty small, obviously. So you're gonna have to strategically figure out how to use that. But there is a chance, it's proposed that this money should be coming in every year to fund a consistent program, but I haven't seen any hard evidence on that yet. But that is being chatted through in charter advocacy groups and stuff. So I think that's something that might happen. Any other questions on that document that you'll be approving? If
No.
hearing none, so I'll move on to my last document. This is this is another piece of compliance. All this is right here is, so the school gets this money from the education protection account. It is not new money, meaning like you get it regardless from your ADA. So it's nothing special. But part of taking this money is that the board has to approve what the school did with the money. And the only thing that you're really approving is that the school did not spend the money on administrative purposes. So it has to be used on instruction. So what we do is we just form this little document that says the school used these EPA funds and will use these EPA funds of $43,000 and $36,000 on teacher salaries. That way it's clear that a teacher salary is not administrative, it's instructional, and thus you would be in compliance. And when the board has to approve this, and then the school will post it on the school's website just to kind of point out to whoever that this is how the board approved the action. So just a compliance piece here, nothing really, no new money, nothing really to talk about here. Just, hey, we got the money, we didn't spend it on admin, we spent it on salary, we applied it to salaries, I should say, thus putting us in compliance. Any questions on this?
No.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, but
Josh?
Yep.
Well, the question was, with the check register, I thought there was discussion that we were going to talk about this while he was still on.
Feel free, he's on.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Great. Josh, I had a question, just looking at the check register. I'm seeing that in both months, these payroll expenses are still showing up. Did we ever chase down?
Yeah, they're gonna keep showing up is what he said. They were there for years, but ahead of time, I guess. That's what we did.
Okay, and so, but what was the reason that some are showing up?
Those
here?
are, anything that happens on the check register is a manual check that's cut. So those employees, and we can, obviously, if you were like, hey, show me the names or whatever, I can take this offline and get you that information. But that's anyone who receives a manual check. They don't get direct deposit. Generally, that's what it is.
Okay. So it's just, so this isn't, there's no double, this is reimbursement or, okay.
Other questions about the check registry? Or registries? You good, Judy?
We're gonna discuss some more later in the meeting, right? Or are we going over them now?
I don't know what we're doing. You guys are in charge of the meeting. I'm just here.
Okay, do you guys want to discuss now the checks?
long as we're on it, might as well
Yes.
finish. Yeah.
I guess my other question was just, I see that there's a payment for social media.
Where you
That's
seeing
the,
it?
that's the marketing.
Marketing.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure, not going by what I think. But maybe-
Well, if it comes up social media, it's probably the person now that was running our social media for marketing purposes would be my guess is, which one is it on?
I thought this is,
The one with the
I
blue
looked
line
at
or
it
no line?
when I looked at it online at home, so I'm now got, I didn't print it.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't see it anymore, which is,
Yeah, you don't
is
need to
this
worry
the
about it.
same as what we were, because these also look like different payroll expenses. Is this the same as what was attached? Because it looks different.
Melody. Sorry, are these the same check registers that were attached to the email you sent out with the agenda? Yes, they are.
Oh, here it is, here it is. Katie Wagner, social media.
So that is our marketing, that's our marketing.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
It's-
is that part of the grant money, right? And so does grant money not need board approval if it's over 5,000?
That was my understanding. If the grant was, like, the grantor, whoever the grant was written to, they're like the executor of that piece.
Well, I think they would also need to see the funds, but I think it's school spending, it would still be school spending, so as fiduciary, we would need to also see that if it's over whatever the threshold is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it appears here, so we are seeing it.
Yeah, that's
well,
what I
it's
mean.
pre-approved when we took it on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Isn't that,
That's how the grants work. Once we take them on, that we have to follow like what we put out there to do. So that's all in.
No, of course, and then that would be the explanation as to why, but it
Right.
wouldn't be, say, for instance. Like within any grant, there's obviously discretion on what you can do with the grant still, I mean, it's not the
So
grant.
most of my grants are itemized. That's how I tend to get them successful, I think, not excluding the part over here that
Mhm.
helps out. All mine are like pretty much itemized. Like when I request a grant, I send them with all the items I'm going to purchase and the price.
Mhm,
Because I found once the people can see exactly what it is, there's a lot more success.
mhm.
Instead of saying, we're gonna buy desks for the classroom, I say, these are the 40 desks we're gonna buy with a link to them.
right?
This is how much they cost, this is what we're asking for, and that seems to be a way more successful method. So
Mhm.
usually my grants are like tied down to what, as an example, when I did the music grant where we got the $22,000, all I had to do was take the list to Natalie and say, I need you to order all these things, because it was like, once the money came in, all of them were already like listed out. She literally clicked on the links and went and purchased them all, so.
So in this case, the social media, how, is this a monthly thing for the year or?
No, we were, through our grant, we were provided $30,000 of marketing for the past year that we just had and this coming year. And so I'm working with the marketing company on trying to make sure that we, budget that the best we can, while also including like the things that we're doing around here, like niche.com that boosts us up and our social media thing that boosts us up. So I'm managing that 30 on those three base things.
So, yeah, so Judy, we've already approved that and he's administering it.
Okay, and that, I mean, that's not inconsistent with what I'm saying, so it still should show here because you wrote a check, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is consistent with what you all are saying, I'm
Right.
not disagreeing with that.
yeah, good.
And is this social media separate from the person we have doing the Instagram and?
So that falls under the grant too, but what's coming up on here is our actual marketing team. It's Katie Wagner's digital marketing.
Like the videos and,
All that stuff, that's
Right.
what that's talking about.
so the person doing the school's Facebook and Instagram, that's a separate expense.
It's a separate expense, but it's also in that 30,000, like it's part of that budgeted 30,000 for the year to keep our.
So you're saying
marketing
that's part of the
system.
grant, not part of this
Correct.
particular
Right.
check?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions on these?
Nope.
Okay.
I'd like to know where the $145 check is.
Says dental.
Yeah,
I saw that one too.
it's a reimbursement. I don't know if I got it or not. I don't remember. Did I get that check?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I already got that check.
Okay, perfect. So everybody good on that?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, we good with Josh then? He's still on.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, I think we're good. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for your
All right.
service.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Really appreciate all the help the last 2 years. I I'm looking forward to working with Janina, but I'm gonna miss our side conversations and hustle that we've had in the past, so.
Yeah,
thanks.
no, absolutely. No worries. I'm sure we'll probably see cross paths again, so no worries. Good seeing you guys. Thank you guys. Appreciate all the kindness. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to Ms. Miller's report.
Perfect. So I'm Miss Miller. It's my first year on the board, fifth year teaching middle school math here at OTA. After surveying the teachers, our first 3 days of school have been really great. I think, a lot of that has to do with our, entire staff from last year coming back this school year. I think that is the first time in OTA history. So you did a good job, Devin. Thank you. But also our staff really is working well with each other, obviously, that every single person came back. And I really think that helped with this transition start of the school year. We've been loving the new camera system, HD, really great. The clean classrooms, Hector has been working so hard, and a lot of teachers have mentioned how clean our classrooms are. And then we also just wanted to thank the school and all of the parent donations of school supplies. We were all set up for success to start the year, so thank you on that one. Other than that, I'm really excited to start making positive changes this school year, as the teacher rep on the school board. I do want to mention that I will be advocating for more minimum days come next school year, because I do think that we are really using those well, and they do benefit both the teachers and the students, performance wise. So that will be something I'll be bringing up this school year. But other than that, I'm just really excited to help the board out.
And what camera system? I might have missed that.
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I'll talk about it when I'm talking. She got it from me. I said, like, we have brand new, so she put it in her notes.
Okay,
I'm excited for it.
I'm sure she is.
okay, perfect, thank you. Melody.
I would, by the way, I would request that Melody just highlight anything that's interesting about this, not read it to us, because we already got it.
As Mark had requested, our current enrollment status as of today, is listed for each classroom with 14 on the wait list for 8th grade.
And so do we have any other wait lists in any of these other classes?
We do not.
Okay.
Current.
One away from max in 5th grade. Right? 27 is the max?
30.
30.
30 is the max, okay.
Yeah, so
And our last numbers were in June, we were at 232 potential, right? Yeah,
yep, do we have any idea of the numbers just based on what we were expecting to come and that's usually what we get in this first meeting, what we're expecting to come versus how many were there, first week, first day.
Yes, we were expecting full classes for all and for
So
all
the
of the
full-
grade levels.
Oh, full
except
30, except which grade?
8th grade.
Okay,
And
so
first grade.
okay,
and
so we
first
were expecting 30.
In all but first grade and 8th grade.
Okay, and what we were expecting, I remember first grade, what we were expecting, like 20,
17, I think.
17.
So that would be people enrolled in multiple schools?
Yeah, they accepted and held a spot here. And they.
And you have that every year.
Yeah.
This year was, as I've said a couple of times, and I shared this with Miriam. It's very common for there to be about, like, whatever the number that you're set with, to be about 20 kids less than that. That's about 1 or 2 kids per classroom, right? That's sprinkled through the school. But this was about 3 times that. So this was a bigger gap than what we initially thought.
Yeah.
And so we did do a deep dive in trying to figure out where that was, and we think we understand where those kids went. And we actually have had some recall process, where we're reaching back out to them to re-engage them to see if this is still where they want to be. So, since we started that yesterday midday, I think we've gotten 3 or 4 kids who, oh yeah, we didn't know, like, so we're reaching out to them and trying to bring them back.
They didn't know what.
They didn't know that they'd been accepted, or they didn't, I mean, lots of didn't knows. I don't really know
Okay.
that. I wasn't the one on the phone, so I'm not really sure the answer to that, but They sounded, what I got was it sounded excitement that we were calling them to bring this back up, so.
Okay, great. So we hope to recapture, it looks like I just did it. We're hoping to recapture maybe some of these.
The first grade at 11,
We had 10 in kindergarten.
okay,
Yeah.
not many, okay.
Yeah, and only 8 came back so we only got 3 new kids in that class, but it was projected to be 17 as recently as the middle of July.
23 was. So first grade in July was projected total enrollment at 23.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had remembered it as 20,
Yeah.
too.
Okay, all right, cool.
Cause I know in third, I thought we were supposed to get 10 new, and then I heard we only got, in fourth, 2 new.
Fourth was projected in July 10 U for a total of 30. So all the classrooms besides first grade were, and eighth were, at 30 in July.
And also, it'd be interesting to see the differences between, I guess, students that didn't return that are students that were here last year versus the new people not coming. So I think that'd be helpful information too.
I don't understand what you're asking, to be honest.
Okay, so the total drop in the class, some of it's kids that didn't cross over from last year, and some are the ones that came or signed up and then didn't come.
We could decipher those numbers fairly easily because of the returning students.
Just so we
Could
can
you
get a,
send her, Judy, the list of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
just so that we
You
can
just
get,
want numbers, right? You don't need a list of people.
Right.
You
Oh,
just need
yeah,
the
yeah.
numbers. Yeah, she just need the
just to
numbers.
kind of get a full picture, and maybe that could be helpful with our marketing too, to kind of know who we're targeting or what gaps we need to fill.
Mhm.
To try to, boost up our numbers to, make sure we stay on this positive budget trend.
Okay, cool.
And so is this gonna affect, it'll affect the budget?
It'll definitely affect the budget.
Go ahead.
Having said that, hopefully, it will look like a miracle like the last one did. So like, we can, keep working some magic.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Melody.
Thanks, Molly.
Okay,
Mark, you want to say what you can't say?
okay, real estate advisory. Mark,
We don't have anything we can say at the moment. Hopefully in the next couple of months, there'll be news.
perfect, thank you. Board discussion, me. Right, I don't know if this is an open or closed session thing, but
If it's what you talked to me about today multiple times, I would say it's closed because it falls under the category that we can talk about it.
okay, then I'll say one. So I'm good.
Okay,
Parent Foundation report, Dell
I'll see her.
is not here. Okay. Principal.
All right, so I don't have a lot tonight. There wasn't really a lot to report out. We was really focused on getting the school open. We did open our doors on Monday, August 21st. With what I would say minor exception, this has been by far one of the easiest openings I've ever had in my career. I think it was for a lot of the same reasons that Ms. Miller shared. I don't know that I've ever had a full returning staff, or if I did, so few questions as we were prepping things like, what normally would take me 3 hours for my opening PowerPoint for the school year took me about an hour and a half because there weren't questions. Everybody knew their roles. Everybody knew what was going on. And that was the first thing that we did in the week. And everything was like that the whole week. It was just a lot more understanding, a lot more like, oh, we can do this to make it better instead of like just doing the baseline, right? We were looking at how we could make things better. The only real staff shift was that we brought Mr. Watts in as assistant principal. Want to report that he's doing an amazing job as we assumed he would. That triggered bringing in a new ELA teacher, which is really where the staff shift happened this year. The teachers have been working hard, like within the classrooms, on the classroom expectations and procedures. That's what they're focused on right now. I meet with them every week to have grade level meetings. Normally, those meetings sound like, where are you at in your CK teaching of ELA? Where are you at, you know, this, and all it was this week was, do you need anything? How are you doing? Where are we at? Sort of thing, because it is all practice and procedures happening in the class right now.
Sorry, you individually or as a group weekly with them?
I meet individually with the middle school teachers, and I meet in pairs with the elementary teachers because of the way I have their prep set up. So I meet with K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Mr. Watts goes with me for behavioral things, and I bring Robin for sped things, and then we all focus in on them each week so that way they always have a targeted time if they have something going on that they need our attention for. And then Ms. Miller so graciously brought up our new cameras over the summer. I think this started sometime in March of last year. We started to work on updating our camera system around here, because what I never wanted to say publicly was most of the cameras were really bad around here and we couldn't see a lot that we needed to see. So we upgraded them to, as Ms. Miller said, HD, and we can see a lot now. And not only that, but we strategically put them at some vantage points that over the 2 years I was here that we really needed to see. So as an example, on the yard now, we have 2 vantage points that allow us to see the entire yard. Before, we had a camera that allowed us to see about a quarter of the yard and looked like it had been rained on all the time. Like there were like speckles on it, so it was really hard to see things. We've also placed cameras in the very front of the building so we can always see who's at our front door, which was not a thing before. We only had one in the entryway. We now also have them in the back where the kindergarten play area is, where people might have been jumping over that fence in the past. So we now have eyes around our school that we never had before. So I know that has been a big ease for Mr. Watts and I in our ability to do our jobs. And I'm happy to report that Club Osprey, as of earlier email, had 29 total, but then I got a text message from Isaac telling me that we now have 33 total within probably an hour of sending out the email to the staff to say what the number was. So I think I sent out, I could be wrong, but I sent you guys an email to say I think it was going to take 36 or 37 kids to be full-time. So 19 of that 29 number, I don't know the new 4 that came in, what they are, 19 of them were full-time. So we're still got to get there, but 10 of those, you know, part-timers start to make up that difference. So we actually are at least on our way currently to potentially being able to budget that entire, or balance that entire budget based on the money coming in. So that would be great for our school, because that additional ELOT money can stay focused on Spanish if we want to go that direction. But I thought that was a really great thing for our school too. So I'm super excited about how our school opened this year. I've said a couple times that honestly, it opened up so easily this year that I'm uneasy about how easy it's been, if that makes sense. I'm used to something falling out, and it just feels too easy this year, which is great. I hope I get to experience this the rest of my career, but it's definitely a new feeling. Any questions about our school opening?
So you said Club Osprey right now, we're at 19 full-time and.
So based on the 29 total number I had early this morning, 19 were full-time. I was told probably about an hour later than after that in a text message that we have now had 33. I don't know what those additional 4 are, whether they're part-time, full-time.
So we're heading towards being
Yep.
able to use.
And I think, you know, we're gonna have back to school night on Tuesday, which I'm gonna talk about, and we're gonna have all of the after school clubs set up during back to school night so the parents can interact with them. My gut says we'll probably sweep up a couple more during that process. If we can somehow get to 36 or 37, whatever number full-time, or the equivalent of that with the part-time, that's the whole program. So that's pretty exciting. Any other questions about back?
What's the impact of not getting the 36?
Nothing. We have the ELOT money to cover it. Like, we're protected. It's just going to be a nice thing for the school if we can access that money in a different way.
But that ELOC money is not a guaranteed thing every year.
Correct.
So if that, for whatever reason, doesn't come through, then
We'll be funding it, but hopefully it can fund itself. Like, we're seeing that it seems like it's going in that direction right now.
Is there a max number of students that they can hold?
There isn't, well, I'm sure is a max number they can hold, but like right now, we haven't set a max number that they can hold. What we have said is once we get at different thresholds, we will hire new people to be a part of that program, because it'll offset that way. Other questions about opening?
Oh, how did the back to, or the new parents, welcoming the new parents, how was that?
I thought the new parent meeting or the new families, came in, I thought it was a really great experience. I've had feedback only from two of the new parents. I've talked to a bunch of them, but two of them specifically came over to tell me how great of an event they thought it was and how thankful they were for the opportunity to, how I think it started off with how incredible the teachers were being in the rooms and, you know, being so easy to talk to and welcoming. And that they had not experienced that at other schools because they were coming in. So, that was really great. You know, I think we in everything we do, we take notes on how we can improve it next year. So we saw some ways that we could do that. But, in general, I think it was a really good, especially for the first time we had all of them in like that instead of it just being a kindergarten night. I thought it was a really successful night. Okay. On Tuesday night, is back to school night, August 27th from 5 to 6. Just want to welcome all you guys to come as well. You know, as parents, I know parents will be here, but everybody else, it's always great to come to these events and see what's going on here. So you're more than welcome to join us. And just wanted to push that out, make sure everybody out in the public knew that we had that coming up.
And back to school night, if parents have kids in multiple grades, are they gonna be the presentations from the teachers? Is it gonna be a set time?
Yeah, so I've asked the teachers in the past and then again in our to start the year now. What they will do is they will do their back to school presentation 3 times, so every 20 minutes. So they'll start at the time that, you know, we start at 5 o'clock, they'll go again at 5:20, they'll go again at 5:40, and then they'll shut their doors at 6. So that way, you know, if somebody has 4 kids at this school, I'm sorry, but if they got 3 kids, they have the ability to get everywhere. Although middle school does its own thing, and middle schools usually takes closer to the full hour or on a half hour basis. So it does make it a little bit more difficult with that, but we do try to accommodate for that.
And are you going to address everybody at back to school night?
I never have before. That's not anything I've ever done before. So I just shake their hands when they walk in out there, and it's only an hour, so the teacher classroom time is way more important than anything I'm gonna say.
Usually pop in to
Yeah,
listen a little bit.
yeah, I pop in and say hi to everybody, but having some sort of big thing now.
I just thought it would be a good opportunity to take it to address the parents as a whole and set, you know, the expectation, whether academic, behavioral, like push the volunteering, let them know the importance of that, just kind of hit some key points that, some messages that we want to really get out there to the families.
I'm not against anything like this. The only catch is, we only, like, if their presentations take 20 minutes and they're doing 3 of them, I don't even know where I'm gonna, like, I would have to have everybody on the yard to start with, give a speech and then dismiss them to the classes. And at that point, like, they're flooding the school. I just think that would take a long time.
Yeah,
per our
I think it's more
current schedule.
important to be in the classrooms. Plus, everybody doesn't come at the very beginning.
Yeah.
They don't come, they come at different times.
And hopefully, the teachers are giving out all the information that we're talking about
Yeah.
anyway in the classroom, which is the goal where it's supposed to happen anyway.
Okay.
If there's a list of things you wanna make sure your teacher gets, I can always bring that to the teachers as well.
Okay, for me, it's just, mainly based off behavior and what the, and what the expectations are on, you know, I know that returning kids and some parents do know, but just to avoid, issues in the future, just, like expectations on behavior and what equals what,
Well, like, that system is a whole different thing in middle school than what it is in elementary. So even
Yeah.
me going over that, I wouldn't do that with a whole group anyway, because it wouldn't be applicable to 6 grades of our 9 grades.
oh, that,
Parental involvement too is important.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
yeah, because I think if the parents are aware of certain, standards that the school must have set, that they'll be more
Well, they're all signing the book, right? They're all signing the.
Yep.
not returning parents. So you have some
All
parents here,
all parents sign the handbook. You have to sign the handbook to come in.
but not returning parents.
Yeah, you guys sign the handbook. Your school meant, like, when you decide you're returning, you sign it too.
Okay, but on the off chance that all of the returning parents are not reading the
Wow,
entire
that's-
handbook.
Yeah.
The new parents aren't reading. The new parents aren't reading.
Maybe some highlights that we wanna emphasize.
we
but-
So that's what I use my newsletter for, is to highlight those things as reminders.
I mean, we have new processes in place this year, like certain system, I don't know how much I can put out there, but
Say whatever you want.
certain, check systems and point systems in place that I think should, and we talked about this, that should be communicated to parents for transparency.
And they will be, we had a deep
Yeah.
discussion about it.
Okay, so
That's not
basically
a,
it sounds
that's not a
like
concern at all.
Yeah, he
The
did
teachers
say,
are covering that.
yeah, he did say that it was gonna be something presented at back to school night along with like the standards of what equals a check and.
Yep, all that's, all
Yeah.
that, we whenever that, you walked up on us doing that
Yeah.
at lunch.
They were board prepping pretty much.
And I just want to say that I am very happy about all of this momentum going on at the beginning of the year. I think it's great. And I think that maybe something we should keep in mind is, to the extent it sounds like if we are able to recapture the 60 students or whatever that we've lost so far since day one, that we maybe keep in mind some type of redo. Cause I mean, I think it's great. It sounds like feedback I'm getting from both my kids that the expectations are being set very clearly. But if we have an influx of 60 more students, then we've gotta.
Judy, in my wildest dreams, we wouldn't have an influx. I hope we have an influx of 60.
Even
And that would
Yeah, I
be-
just want you to know that would
A
be.
few at a time, so they
Yeah,
can
and
be
it,
brief as you
and
go.
we would most definitely make sure they understood what the standards were if we had that kind
Okay,
of
but-
flood come through the
Okay,
doors.
but I mean, I just want to, cause it looks like we could hopefully gain 4 or 5 per class. That makes it, to me, I would imagine if I've got 20 and now I've got 25 and the 5 new are not on the same page as the 20 that are already there.
Plus, you count on Devin to carry that message. Yeah.
So do we still have designated classes for events that are happening like?
Yes,
Yeah, that's all through the foundation.
yeah,
Grandparents'
Yep.
Day and all?
yeah,
Well, not
yeah.
Halloween, but like movie night, geography. Go on.
No, Halloween's one of them too.
Yeah, Halloween
Yeah.
should be.
The
I think
parade
that
is
was a-
sponsored by a class.
It's sponsored by the foundation, so I don't know who.
And that information has already
Yeah.
gone out and
Yeah, that's
the
good.
foundation has already had their first meeting and shared all
I used to do it all
that,
myself,
yeah.
and then I just spread it out, but I can't do this.
Your question was that if classes still sponsor an event, right? Not the
Yeah, like
foundation.
Grandparents' Day was 3rd grade. They did all Grandparents' Day,
Still 3rd grade.
so yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
Not that
cool.
they didn't get help from other parents, in different grades, but to actually.
Yeah, no, we are
You know,
still doing
kind
that
of put it in
same
there,
process
that's
that you
awesome.
set up,
I was
yes.
just wondering.
All right, cool.
Other questions about opening of the school or back to school night?
No.
Awesome, that concludes my portion of the report.
Thank you.
New business. Consent items. So we need approval of July board meetings, August special board meeting, approval.
So you just got those minutes, so you wanna take a minute and take a look at it? They're not long, either one.
I did, so I'm.
Okay,
I'm good.
has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yeah.
Did we approve them all?
We can approve them all at one time.
I second that.
You motioning to go I through B? I like where your head's at, Bob.
Did we not vote on, okay, not voted on, okay, it was already approved, gotcha.
So you
Okay,
moved?
so are we good on the meeting minutes, board minutes?
Yes, somebody gonna move, I motion to approve, please.
I second.
All of them, right? A and B?
Yes, July, I will say the full motion. I motion to approve the July and special board meeting minutes.
Okay, all in favor? Do we want to approve just everything?
Okay, what else do we have? Unaudited, okay, anybody have any comments on unaudited actuarials, Prop 28? Or EP, okay, I move to approve all of the items under 5A, 1 through 5. The July and August special board, July regular meeting, August special meeting, unaudited actuals, Prop 28 and music expenditures, and 23, 24, and 24, 25 EPA expenditures.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Christine, did you vote?
Oh,
Did you vote?
Can we see Christine?
She said yes.
Okay. So 5A, all of them approved.
Mhm.
Oh, and 5B, I didn't see that. I move to amend my original motion to also include 5B, March and 1 and 2, approval of the March and April check registers as discussed.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just for the record, Christine is voting yes.
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 All right, yeah, any opposed? Any abstentions? No, okay, passed. All right, we will go into closed session. What's that? Oh, yeah, no, you guys can go.
You can.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yes.
Nice
And what
meeting
you guys say here matters, so
Yes.
it's good.
Thank you.
take these packets or?
Yeah, you can leave them.
It's up to you.
Thank you.
What's your name again? Alexis.